Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dislife Podcast. Thank you so much for making our show a part of your Disney life. I am your host, Mark Valentine, and if this is your first time joining us here at Dislife, welcome. If you're a returning guest to the show, then welcome home. Please don't forget to subscribe and download all of our episodes, and you can find them over at www.dislifelifepodcast.com. We have all of our directories in one place, plus our blog, and then there's some different ways that you can interact with the show at dislifelifepodcast.com. Give us a rating, give us a review, and of course, subscribe to the show so you get new content every Wednesday when we launch. So a few weeks ago, we had Jon Hinson on for episode 6, where he broke down his hidden photo gems. Today, John's going to rejoin the show, and his mission is to help you fill your vacation photo booklet with priceless memories that every family should have at the end of their vacation. So Jon is going to be posting a concurrent blog along with some of the pictures that he talks about today over at dislifelifepodcast.com. And it's our honor to welcome to the show one more time, friend of the show, sponsor of the show, Jon Hinson. Jon, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. What a cool subject.
Yeah, it's always great to have you back. I mean, you've been with us now for like 3 or 4 episodes. We love you when you're here as a co-host.
Always a blast.
And it's always a blast. And it's like Marina said, like, it's always yes. Like, whenever we could talk about Disney, it's always yes.
Yes, sign me up.
Yeah, sign me up. So you kind of gave me this idea. You put this bug in my ear, and I absolutely loved it. You sent me this picture of a photo booklet, and you said, hey, let's do an episode, and let's fill this puppy up with memories.
Heck yeah.
So you had like an amazing list, and that's the other thing. So Jon sent me a really full list that is going to be part of that blog, that he's going to say, like, here is the checklist of the like must-do family photos, whether they're PhotoPass photos, whether they're selfies. So the last time on episode 6, Picture Perfect, we had like 5 hidden photo gems. So check that episode out. If you're new to the show, go back and check out that first episode, because he gave you these off the beaten path photos. He gave us like an amazing tip to turn our backs on the purple wall, something that was incredible that I absolutely loved, because everyone loves the purple wall photo.
Yeah. It still made the list.
It always makes the list. Like the walls are always iconic for a reason, because they're just really great. They're really great for selfies, and they're really great for those Instagram photos. But this was like a really different approach to photography, which was, hey, listen, here are your must-dos. So this is a great episode for those of you that are thinking about going for the first time. This is for our newbies, or these are, this episode is going to be perfect for those of you who have not been to Walt Disney World in a while. That if you've only got one shot, if you only go once every year or once every 2 years, this is really going to be the episode for you, because Jon's going to help you fill that photo booklet up with priceless memories that 10 years from now, you and the kids will look back on and just smile at all of these photos. So I was really psyched about that. The podcast it's here for like beginners, and it's here for like the seasoned vets. So this is definitely one that I think this could help both of those groups. But really, if you're a newbie, this is going to be some good stuff.
Yeah. And everyone needs to print photos. So I know a lot of like people that go a lot don't print them, but you definitely should.
So we fall into that category. We most of our stuff is like in Dropbox.
Yeah.
We have a few. It's safe. We have like maybe 10 that we really love that we printed out that are framed. They're like 5x7s, and they're what is it, a 4x6?
Yeah, 4x6. Yeah.
Like they're a 4x6, and we like we're those people too. Like, this is funny because there's a lot of people that are like this. We'll buy like a frame that we love, that we absolutely love. Or like we'll buy, like really big pieces that will hold multiple photos.
The collage frames. Without your family in it, right?
They hang on the wall, or they sit in the room for sometimes months on end without any of our photos in it.
Terrible.
So my mom came to visit us, I don't know, like 8 or 9 months ago. And we had this one that it was like one of the ladder types where, they were like 3 4x6s, maybe a 5x7, and then an 8x10 at the bottom. And my mom's looking at the photos, going, like, these are such beautiful photos, but who are these people? We're like, Mom, that's not us. We just haven't filled the photo frames yet with pictures. She's like, this has been in your house for like a year almost. We're like, yeah, we know.
I know you have plenty of Disney photos you could print for that.
We do. And again, they're all in Dropbox. The thing I love about these photos, though, and this is what I loved about this episode, whenever we scroll through them, like, they bring us such joy.
Yeah.
I love scrolling back through these photos and like reliving the trips. I mean, like, oh, that was the February trip. Oh, that was our not so Halloween trip.
Yeah.
I love going through them because they all bring back different emotions, and sometimes we laugh. Like this they had the National Daughters Day. And I don't know what it was. I was scrolling through the Disney pictures, and then I found the one with my daughter with her eyes wide open on Everest. And I laughed and roared hysterically at that PhotoPass photo.
Yeah, those are priceless. Like, take me back to that moment. It's so cool.
But that's in our season 6 episode. We said that's why we both love photography, and Disney photography is there's something about that medium. Even in that still, it brings back so much more than just like, oh yeah, look at how beautiful that looks. It's a memory. It's a snap in time.
Yeah,
that you'll have it forever.
Yeah.
Which is why, again, shameless plug for hinsonphotography.com. So Jon is, and again, for those of you who've listened, you know that Jon has either, different weeks he has our intro or outro. And I will flip flop he and Melissa with travelingwithlissy.com. But Jon is a friend of the show, sponsor of the show. If you are traveling, again, please try to enlist his services. He does family portraits, not just Disney portraits. He can arrange for a family photo session on the beach. There's nothing like having professional photos and then professionally touched photos to make a vacation that much more magical. So Jon didn't need to ask me to do that too, by the way. That was my shameless plug for Jon.
I appreciate that. That was really awesome.
Yeah, and you can follow him at Hinson Photo on Instagram as well to check out some of these great photos. And again, www.hinsonphotography.com to see his professional portfolio in action. So check it out. Definitely check it out. All right, Jon. So I'm excited. So let's get into this.
Yeah.
So we didn't really plan this one out, which I like. I'm starting to find my groove with a lot of these podcasts now where, the first few weeks they were very scripted. I would have my, we got to ask X, Y, and Z. This one I just kind of like let it go because with Dwayne and I, when we did our Mount Rushmore, I think it was my favorite episode ever.
Just so natural, it just flows.
Yeah, it was so non-scripted. I just told him before we recorded, I said, hey man, you get your 4 Mount Rushmore classic rides, I'll get mine, and then we'll just go like 1 and 1. And so like the two of us, very unscripted, went back and forth, and we thought we were going to start talking about classic rides, and then we had these dad moments, these dad discussions. By the end of it, I was like, wow, man, that was heavy. Like, what just happened?
Oh, man.
It was such a great episode.
Yeah,
so,
some Disney therapy.
It was Disney therapy. So I was like, you know what? We're going to do the same thing again. Mark, don't overplan this one. Just, Jon knows what he's going to talk about. Just let it go. So we're going to do an Elsa and we're just going to let it go.
Let it go.
So like you're on, buddy. So what's your number one?
Yeah. So like, I kind of like the way in my head, I broke it down to like all 4 of the parks and then like a section that's just kind of generic that you would do like anywhere or anytime.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously when you're on, Main Street, you have to have your typical castle photo. So I feel like all icons are automatic, right? But I personally, one thing I think like a lot of people don't think about is, when you're a child getting their first Mickey ears or even their first souvenir, I feel like that's a really special moment that they'll never forget. And it's funny when I wrote this list right after the new short by Disney for Make-A-Wish came on, and it's basically like the cool souvenir and how it's passed on. And I just think like that's just a really iconic moment to like document. And of course, like your snacks when you're on Main Street, I just think like you might just want to like, go for it and eat. But I feel like those are things you'll, and 20 years from now, you look back and be like, wow, they don't have that anymore. And like, do you remember when they had this? Like the first time I went, they had a McDonald's fry stand. And that was just so random, but I'm like, I wish I had pictures of that. I had to like Google it and find it. So it's just funny. So that's like one thing I would say about Main Street.
It's so funny that you say that. So like when we went for the first time, we never realized that we were going to become Disney people like this. So we took our daughter and this was how we actually started our very first episode. We talked about the beginning of your Disney life and how, you did not grow up Disney. You grew up right there, but you were not a Disney person. And then when you took your son, something clicked and that was it.
Yeah.
It was kind of the same thing. But the funny thing, so the first time we traveled to Disney, I look back at my photo library and that first trip I was doing what you were saying. Like I have photos, gratuitous amount of photos of everything and and anything. Snacks, signs, like stuff that now I will look at, and I kind of miss that. Like, and I've also shared with you offline something that I'm going to start getting back into and bringing a better camera. So that's my other change that I'm going to make is the next time I go back, I'm going to bring my DSLR with me. I'm bringing that Canon with me because I've really started to miss some of those finer details. Like the first trip we took, we photographed everything. And I love that portfolio. Like I came back and I'm like, yeah, that was the best photography vacation that we took because I didn't know when I was going to see it all again. So I snapped everything. Like if I had a bagel for breakfast that morning, I'm like, check it out. It's my bagel breakfast.
Look at my Disney Parks plate.
yeah. Like look at my, my guava juice mixture that I got over at the Poly.
I feel like it's so important to do that though. Like honestly, like not only just for like bragging rights, you got to come home and tell all your friends, but those are like things that, I mean, Disney changes a lot. So if you have a favorite thing and you want to remember it, you better take a picture.
Well, like the other cool thing is, like you mentioned, just capturing stuff that is rare. So the photos that I love that are circulating obviously on social media right now is the water around Tom Sawyer Island has been drained. So people are snapping photos of that in particular, and you could see the track that the ferry goes on, which just even from that standpoint, like
historical.
I didn't even realize that the ferry was on a track. I thought the conductor of the ferry is like driving that, and this is something that like I was 8 years old when I found out that the ferry is actually on the rails. It's
a little bit of magic that you just miss out on.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, this guy's a really good pilot. Like he's making some hairpin turns through this really.
You're like, are they putting coal in this thing? Like,
like what's going on here? So for me, like that was really cool to see that Imagineering feat in action. But it's cool to like snap those photos of things that you may not ever get to see again.
Yeah. Or for instance, during the parade when the dragon caught on fire, like you gotta have all those moments, even if you think, oh, it's just a parade. You never know when that's gonna be gone.
Yeah, so I mean, some of these that you listed too, and I'll go through the ones that you sent were like, and some of them are must dos. Like you have to get selfies with the Fab Five. You have to get a selfie with Mickey. You have to get a selfie with Donald. You have to get a selfie with Goofy. There are places, and if you want to, like the great thing about our Facebook group is we have a lot of feedback of this kind of stuff, of people love and crave information like this of, hey, listen, I heard on Jon's thing, where do I want to get a selfie with the Fab Five? That's where the Facebook group is really great. We don't have Patreon. We don't have Patreon, by the way. So people are like, oh, do I have to be a Patreon in order to get in the group? No, like we love our fans. We have not monetized this podcast. We offer all these things to our fans and say, listen, come on in. We have extras. We have live broadcasts. We have game show nights.
Everyone's very nice too. Very nice.
Everyone's really nice. But for those of you who are like, okay, Jon told me to get selfies with the Fab Five. Where do I go? We'll tell you, hey, like your best bet for selfies with the Fab Five is go here to eat. So that's the great thing about this. And of course, right now with COVID, some of those things have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
But
possible though. Still possible.
It's still very possible. But you even talked about this in another group where you said, hey, listen, the Garden Grill right now as a character experience, the Fab Five's not there, but you can still get a selfie with Mickey, Pluto, Chip, and Dale. There are still ways to get these selfies.
They're important. I feel like that's a part of the Disney experience.
It really is. So, selfies with the Fab Five. You said Mickey-shaped food in general, but Mickey waffles.
Yeah.
Get pictures of your matching shirts at every park.
They're a must.
Whatever the holiday is, always get your holiday-themed photo. You'll love those photos. I know they seem so terribly kitsch at the moment that you take them, but you really will look back on that seasonal vacation and then look back and go, oh, that was Christmas at Disney, or oh, that was Halloween. They really do matter when you look back.
If you come the whole year too, that's really cool because like the photo albums that Disney sell is categorized by year. So it's kind of neat to see like from January all the way to December if you do go multiple trips. But
you've already gave an amazing one that I overlooked, but picking out that souvenir, that Mickey souvenir, or picking out that special first souvenir for your child, or picking out a real sentimental souvenir for a family member.
Yeah.
And like not just sending them the souvenir, but send them a little video or a little like Instagrammable photo to say, hey, listen, I got this for you. I was thinking of you. And I think that'll make it, there's a story behind the gift.
Exactly. It's a little more special than just, getting it.
First pair of Mickey ears, you said.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yep.
I will, I'm going to throw myself, I do this constantly. I throw myself under the bus. I've owned one pair of Mickey ears in my life. I've never been a Mickey ears kind of guy.
I like the Mickey hat.
I'm a hat person. So I get hats all the time. And some of you have seen them on me on certain live videos where I have various baseball caps that I love. I just don't like the way I look in ears. That's it. I don't have the head shape. I'm not a good head shape model.
I have a couple of the hats, and they literally have the ears still. And I can't. Sometimes I'm too uncomfortable, but.
And of course, selfies. So right now, again, there's an asterisk with any kind of selfie with characters because of social distancing. You can't really get close enough with them. But there are some really artful ways you can catch selfies, like Winnie the Pooh, who appears in Epcot on the lawn. You can angle the camera over so that Winnie's over your shoulder or Joy is over your shoulder. There's ways to do that, right?
Yeah, totally. Or like during the cavalcades when they're like coming by, it's a great time to snap it.
That's a good point too. Yep. Yeah, I love those cavalcades.
Oh, they're so great. Honestly, like I don't think I've ever seen as much Mickey and Minnie and everyone else as I have the past couple months. Like they appear so much. Like it's crazy.
I hope they stay.
Totally.
It's an aspect, like everyone loves the 3:00 parade. I miss the Festival of Fantasy parade. Yeah. I love the floats and I love the color. Those are amazing floats. I do like the impromptu magic of just these characters like
just appear.
So cool. So cool. And I hope that when things go back to normal, that Disney evaluates the cavalcades and says, let's use this as an opportunity to showcase the real rare characters.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Like let's get Jiminy Cricket on this float.
Yeah, just send him out.
Just send him out. I saw the photo of Jiminy Cricket over in what was it, like Pinocchio House?
Yeah, I'm so sad I missed it.
I geeked out over that. So a separate topic, I feel like Jiminy Cricket is so underrepresented anymore for this generation.
Yeah, Pinocchio, really. I mean.
Is that just me or what? Like I remember as a child, maybe because it came out of the vault again, but I remember as a kid, like that intellectual property was so pushed. Like the When You Wish Upon a Star.
Yeah.
Jiminy Cricket was like, that was it. And now I just feel like my daughter does not really know who he is. And I'm like, what's going on? You need to know Jiminy Cricket.
We're going to play this again.
Like I'm going to start a campaign.
I'm surprised they haven't made like a remake of that.
Mm-hmm. Live action. It's coming.
Yeah, maybe that's next.
It's coming. Jiminy Cricket might get cut out like Mushu.
Oh my gosh. Of course, I guess like seeing him like that would be weird, I guess.
It would be very weird. I don't know about that one.
Be like cats or something.
Those are really great general stuff. And of course, the one I really loved was anytime that you're on a ride for the first time, take a photo.
Yeah.
Take a photo. Do you have a GoPro?
I do, yeah.
Do you ever bring it up?
Yeah, I do. Disney is pretty relaxed about it. Universal and like SeaWorld, stuff like that, they're not. But Disney's great. Like you can take it on any ride basically. I
always find that like I feel like people have a better handle on the GoPros because they obviously come with the shortened sticks, or people have them on their heads.
Or like the chest. I like the wrist one.
Or tethered to their wrist. Yeah. Like I feel like those are less of a risk for like impaling someone on the ride. Because whenever I'm holding my iPhone, the cast member like looks at you like, you better hold on to that. And I'm like, I know. I don't, trust me, I don't want to have this.
I got it.
It's like $1,000 phone. Trust me, I don't want to have this thing fly off and hit anyone in the head just as much as you don't want that.
They make little straps for them though.
They do.
I didn't know that until I saw Bonnie the other day had it on. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
I'm on the fence. So Christmas is fast approaching. I'm on the fence of whether I ask for a GoPro or not. Because I want to get more ride footage. That's the other thing I want to add to my photo portfolio is I want more ride footage. Yeah,
go for it. I love mine. It's a crazy story. I was at the Springs one time and I had my GoPro and it fell off my wrist. And so I was like, I was all upset about it. I couldn't find it. We were literally looking for hours, like trying to swim down, nothing. Well, I was at my mom and dad's house. It was a Sunday and I get a knock on the door there, and they're like, "Hey, did you lose a GoPro?" I'm like, "How did you find me?" They like tracked down my parents' house based on the footage.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah, insane. I was like, wow, this is insane. I couldn't believe it. But you should totally go on.
I forgot about you. All right, so I love this. So what's another one?
Yeah, so I mean, like in Epcot, of course, like you have to take in every country, right? Like that's a total must. A fun one I always do is like holding the spaceship Earth. I think that's like just fun and different. And we do that like anywhere we go. We'll find a building and like, you know, like act like you're pinching it.
Okay.
It's funny. And at Epcot too, like I love all of their like festival photos they do with the magic. It is so cool. Like the different characters they put in your hand. I just think like if you're going to do any photo pass, you should definitely do it at Epcot because they're really fun there.
That's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa photo where you gotta hold it up.
Yeah,
it's like a must do when we went. Yeah, it's so funny too because you can see everyone is doing the same photo of just holding it up. And sometimes it's cool to embrace those touristy moments too.
Yeah, definitely. I live here and I still embrace them.
We used to travel the world. My wife and I used to travel with students when I was a teacher, and it was so funny because like we would embrace the tourist, and I would tell the kids, I'd be like, listen, you are a tourist. You don't need to act like you're too cool for those things. Yeah. Like take those photos, ham it up, do the silly stuff that every tourist does. And who cares? You're never going to see people again. And I get it. You know, the locals are probably looking at you shaking their head, and that's fine. You're never going to see them again. Don't diminish your fun. Have the Eiffel Tower photo that you're doing like
they live there, so I'm sure they love it too.
Listen, I'm sure they love the tourist dollars flowing into their city.
Yeah, exactly. Have fun.
So definitely like embrace the, you know, hold Spaceship Earth and don't worry about what other people are saying. I feel like I need to take more photos of the World Showcase.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Walking around is just awesome.
One of your photo gems from the first episode that we did in season 1, episode 6 was Morocco was one of your hidden gems that you said like you have to go to Morocco. I mean, it's the most photogenic that you said like that's the one. If you're going to go to Epcot and you got to hit just one, and you want to put one in your photography portfolio like Morocco. But I keep going back and forth. I'll be honest with you. I keep going back and forth between Morocco and Japan.
Japan's beautiful too. It really is.
I love the natural elements in Japan. I love the foliage that's there. I like the gateway photo that you can capture the Spaceship Earth
right behind you.
Right behind it.
So nice.
But I like that. So other stuff from Epcot.
Yeah, so I mean, I love like the monorail, and I think it's fun to like see how many colors of the monorail you can capture, like as you're walking through. Because of course, right now during COVID, that's like whatever. It'll be back soon.
It will be. I like the photos too. So another photo that I want to get next time I'm in Epcot is the monorail as it's passing around Spaceship Earth. Like there's a way that you can angle just that photo just right to get those two elements together.
So cool.
So again, really cool. All right, Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, Hollywood Studios. That's a fun one. It's kind of crazy. I don't know, like at Toy Story Land, they have all these benches. They're made of like popsicle sticks or like tracks. They're so cool. And I think they're just like so fun and different. And like, it's one of those things that you're going to post it and people are going to be like, where is that? It's just neat.
You know, when you said that, I chuckled because when you said that, so I've really been like, I've been consuming a lot of photography on Instagram. I'm having a lot of fun. I ran across a really funny Instagram account. It was called Binstagram.
Instagram?
Binstagram, B-I-N, in Disney. And it's just photos of the trash cans in Disney World.
There's so many. That's a fun one too. They make Christmas ornaments of the trash cans.
I've never noticed how diverse the bins are there. It was like it was very comical for me. But when you said, "Hey, you have to take pictures of the benches," like it reminded me of.
Yeah, no, for real though. Like you can be sitting on them, it's fine, but they're just fun, like just really cool. Like they literally even are like stained popsicle sticks. Like it's crazy. But
again, that's the great thing about Disney is the theming in some of these areas. Normal everyday items, like whether it's a bench or a bin, are just so fun to like look at the way that they work them into the landscape.
And that's also like funny towards us Disney fans because we're talking about trash cans. Like,
and again, you got to get the icon. I love the new sign of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. the neon.
It's so cool.
The neon is really fun. Very Instagrammable photo there.
You do it at night too. The photo pass at night, right in front of that.
You gave us the hot tip last time of like every Galaxy's Edge. Yes, like everything in Galaxy's Edge. Just go there and snap the heck out of Galaxy's Edge.
You're gonna do that naturally, anyways.
You will. There's nothing that we're gonna tell you here that you're not gonna. You're gonna naturally just go to Galaxy's Edge and be like, yeah, I'm photographing everything. Anything else that like you just like when you leave Hollywood Studios, you say, listen, you just got to have this in your photo portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like in front of the rides, I feel like those are really fun because they have Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster are right there. And both of those are like, some of the most intense rides at Disney. So that's just a fun one. Like underneath the car with the photo pass, it's so cool. Like the way they do it, it's just neat.
The Rock and Roller Coaster is my favorite photo pass.
Yeah?
I love that photo pass. The launch on that. When
funny.
It combines the elements of test track is probably my second, by the way, too. Because no matter how composed people try to stay in test track, your wind blown, you're laughing, your eyes are squinting because you're coming right out that tunnel, and they snap you almost immediately. I love those too, but I love Rock and Roller Coaster because you're trying to compose. And the best thing, the coolest thing you could do is obviously throw up the horns. If you do it fast enough. Yeah, if you do it fast enough, and just try to like hold the pose with all your might, because anything else is going to look like weak sauce. Because you're going 60-something miles an hour at that point. So I just love the people, and then the other side are the kids who are like flipping out,
crying
on it, like, and they just have these deer in headlights, like. But like the front of Rock and Roller Coaster, you have to have that one because it's just a really cool icon. Anything Tower of Terror, we've said this before too. Like as you're heading down that part of the park, like everything is really cool. It's got the 50s kitsch to it. Yeah. Like it's really photogenic.
All the shops are cute. Like it's fun, and especially at Christmas time. Like you're gonna want to spend a lot of time there.
Yep. And then in Animal Kingdom on the first show, you said Asia.
Yeah, beautiful.
Asia. But what are some?
The photo pass is great there in front of Everest. I think I saw your photo pass there too. Mm-hmm. I love that one with the mountain in the background. It's really cool. They do a really cool magic shot there too. And like when you go on the safari, me and my wife always like see like who can photograph the most animals or like the most different ones. It's just fun. Just challenge yourself like that. I don't know.
I have to up my safari game. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I've looked over my safari photos over the years and I'm just lacking. I shoot with an iPhone, but it's just my photos are terrible, John.
I was about to say, I've never taken my professional camera on the safari. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Terrible. I should do it. But yeah, it's just so like all the animals you can see there are just so cool. And like, I like doing it at different times of day too, because totally different experience.
Yeah. I have a crocodile shot that I'm proud of. Singular. and everything else, I'm like, man, this is terrible. It's horribly framed. Nothing looks good. My safari game is weak. It's very weak.
We gotta get you better.
We do. Like, I'm really starting to realize now that, but that's the other thing is now that I've committed to going so frequently, there are like, I have missions. Like we have several missions concurrently, like that we're working on. One is we have to stay at every resort. 2, we have to dine at every single place. 3, I have to really start upping my photo game.
Yes.
And I have to start really snapping some of these things that I love taking them in. I've said this to Linda. I said, I'm always so torn because you want to take the parks in there. And there are times that even when I was on vacation, like, and we would go to Europe, I would have to put the camera down because I wanted to see it with my eyes.
Yeah. Be in the moment.
I think the second time we went to France, I found myself behind the lens way too much. And then when I got back, I didn't have that same emotional response. The photos were beautiful. The tail end of it paid off because then I felt like I was living through that vacation again and again and again. But when I was there, I felt like I missed the magic in that moment when I was in Paris the second time around. So I feel like you just got to balance it out. But now that I've seen a lot of these things again and again, I want to capture them for all posterity.
Yeah, definitely.
But you said the safari, you've said the bridge by Asia, which I love. I have the yoga pose and they give you the great Everest photos.
Yeah.
The mossy wall in Pandora, which I love.
Yeah, it's so nice. And the magic shots again in Pandora are just top of the line. I love them.
Yeah, and right now is a great time because the sun goes down earlier, so you're gonna get Pandora illuminated before closing.
They close around 6 now, so yeah, definitely would have time. It's really cool there, though.
So I said how much I love Test Track, and I said how much I love
Dinosaur, right?
Dinosaur. You've got to get the cheesy, terrified photo on Dinosaur, even if you're not scared. Everyone telegraphs that one. We have some really great ones. I love the one where you're acting and you're feigning terrified, and then there's like 3 or 4 people on it that have never been on the ride.
They're literally terrified.
Literally terrified.
I heard someone was telling me that they took their like niece or nephew on the ride, and it broke down at that time, and the lights were all out, but the soundtrack was still going, and so then like the lights came back on, and like it was right there.
We've broken down once on Dinosaur, and the lights were down. The soundtrack was on. We were at this one spot. Nothing was jumping out at you, but you could hear the rumble, and the eyes were still illuminated, and it terrified my daughter.
Oh man!
And I just was like, "Listen, just close your eyes. We're going to be through it in a minute." But I was like, "Yeah, this is kind of unnerving right now."
Meanwhile, you're literally terrified.
I'm like, "Yeah, this is a little creepy. I'm not going to lie. This is a little bit creepy. Let's keep moving." I felt like at one minute I'd be like the guy in Jurassic Park when he's like, "Clever girl," and like there's a raptor that's going to jump out and consume me.
You're like looking for a light switch. Like, get me out of here.
That is a very intense ride.
It is. The ride system's like so ahead of its time too, I feel like. For
little kids, that's a scary ride. My daughter still closes her eyes on it.
I still close my eyes.
It's intense. Well, I like the ride because I feel like it gives me an adjustment on my back.
The up down.
Yeah, I don't need to see like whenever I start to feel like I need an adjustment on my back, I just say, Linda, let's book a trip to Disney. I'll go on Space Mountain and I'll go on Dinosaur, and then it's going to be like crack, crack, crack. Hey, we're good. Let's go. Let's go home.
Here we are. And a vacation on top of it. Can't beat it.
John's got this amazing list. We just hit you with some of the quick hits today, but check out the full list and we're going to put this in a cool blog, and he's going to put together his own photo book for you to kind of show you all these pictures. If you have any questions, again, check us out on Facebook. Head to Dislife Podcast on Facebook. John is an admin there, along with my entire team, with Dwayne, with Melissa, with Matt. And then, there's a lot of lifelong friends that I have as admins there too. Dina Ray and Ronit, and then of course my wife Linda. But like, it's a great way for you to kind of say, hey, listen, what's another great photo? John's always there with some really great shots and some photo suggestions for you. So head over to DisneyLifePodcast.com. Check out the website. Check out Jon Hinson's amazing website, HinsonPhotography.com. And if you want some really nice, fancy family portraits, head over to HinsonPhotography.com. Book John for a session. John, we always know this is never goodbye. It's I can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah, see you soon, right?
Yeah, thanks again for joining us and talking more photography with us. We love photography. And then check him out at Hinson Photo on Instagram to check out some of these amazing, beautiful works of art that he has. And John, I'll see you really soon.
See you soon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
See you.
Thank you so much to Jon Hinson for joining the show again today. Thank you so much for joining the show. Please come back again every single week to live your best Disney life. I hope you have had a wonderful time with us here at the show today. Check us out on www.DisneyLifePodcast.com, and I will see you all again real soon. Have a really great week filled with faith, trust, and pixie dust. Take care.